13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
We're looking at overcast skies here in downtown Macon this morning and across central Georgia. I'll show you what that will do to the afternoon high temperatures and why today will be the coolest day since early June. A missing Lake Tobesofkee boater now found, what the investigation shows this morning. Plus, the fight to remove blighted homes in Macon-Bibb County still ongoing. We'll tell you when this is happening and what the county plans on doing.
And teens make up a troubling number of Macon's homicide and violence victims. Just ahead, I'll show you how one group is working to change that by starting young to teach kids a better way.
Well, good Monday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the fairgrounds in beautiful Houston County. The time is now 6:32 a.m. on this Monday, July the 7th. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. I'm Wanye Reese. Before you head out the door, you're definitely going to want to know what the weather is looking like. Meteorologist Alex Forbes has us covered on that.
Yeah, good morning, Wanye. We're looking at some dense clouds and actually some fog across parts of central Georgia. You look off in the distance there in Perry, seeing some fog getting pretty close to the ground. Any areas that saw rainfall yesterday has the threat of seeing that as we go through the morning hours. Temperatures across the board looking at mid-70s, 74 in Macon, 73 Warner Robins, Dublin and Perry, and 75 waking up in Baldwin County this morning. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar. It's 73 there in Warner Robins, 75 in Milledgeville, 77 in Americus with a few showers down to the south this morning along a front that's draped, generally speaking, across southern Georgia, Alabama. Some more activity down into the Gulf of Mexico this morning. But notice a lot of the southeastern United States is dry this morning thanks to upper level high pressure. Temperatures warming into the 70s, 78 there by the noon hour, not the 90s here in central Georgia. Headed for a high temperature of about 86 degrees today, a 30% chance of rain with not as many showers and storms. We'll talk about why we're looking at 80s instead of the 90s and why it's not as wet today, as well as the tropics. Could we have Danielle in our future? Those details are just a few minutes away.
Thank you, Alex. We'll check in with you soon. An update this morning in a story we've been following on a deadly boating accident at Lake Tobesofkee. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources identified the man killed as 31-year-old Tyler Moss of Macon. They recovered his body just after 10 a.m. yesterday near Sandy Beach Park. According to Sergeant Bubba Stanford with the Georgia DNR, the investigation now shows Moss apparently slipped off a tube he was riding behind on a pontoon and had no life vest on. Moss ended up going under. The driver of the boat got caught on the propeller as they tried to help Moss and ended up going to the hospital along with another person on the boat. In response to the recent accidents at Lake Tobesofkee, Macon-Bibb commissioners are looking to change some rules surrounding lake supervision. Tomorrow morning, new rules may come up for discussion. Commissioners plan to give the lake's director the authority to create safety rules and also create more penalties for violating those rules. They'll also look to add a rule to prohibit kids under the age of 14 from going into the water without adult supervision. If you break any of the lake rules, you could face a verbal warning or be removed from the park. You may also be fined up to $500 or even face some jail time. Questions on who's responsible in a shooting on Emory Highway. A car chase suspect tied to a triple shooting in Milledgeville remains on the run, and new information surrounding a bus crash last week. Let's catch you up on the three things that you need to know this morning. Bibb County investigators are still looking into a Friday night shooting that left one man in critical condition. Witnesses told deputies they pulled into a parking lot on Emory Highway and found a man on the ground shot. There's still no word on who's responsible. The hunt continues for a man tied to a triple shooting at Milledgeville's Riverbend Apartments. Georgia College police tried to pull a car over, but it sped off towards Navison Health Baldwin. A man got out of the car and laid on the ground. He had been shot in the chest earlier. Two other men were driven to the hospital by private cars later. It's believed they were also injured in that same shooting. Now, the person who was in that car is still listed in critical condition. One of the other two men was released. The third is recovering at another hospital. Anyone with information on this shooting or the Emory Highway one can call the Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. That number, it's 1-877-68-CRIME. That number again for you, it's at the bottom of your screen. It's 1-877-68-CRIME. The Macon Transit Authority is now disputing some of the information surrounding a bus crash that happened Thursday night in downtown Macon. A MTA spokesperson released a statement saying their driver was never taken to the hospital, and she disputed other information released by the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office reported the bus driver and 6 bus passengers, along with 2 passengers in the SUV, were taken to the hospital. The spokesperson said 9 people were not taken to the hospital. This all happened Thursday on MLK Jr. Boulevard downtown when the bus collided with the car. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says the accident remains under investigation. We now have photos to share of the two people at the center of an Amber Alert that you possibly got just before 6 a.m. These are the two people that they are looking for right now. 1-year-old Lucas Elliott Horn and Joseph Michael Horn. Investigators believe that they may be in a gray Chevrolet Silver 4-door pickup out of Douglas, Georgia. It has a Georgia license plate. Listen to me closely. XNG 136. Now, Douglas is down in southeast Georgia in Coffee County. 441 north heads towards there, which travels through central Georgia. So pay special attention if you're driving along that highway. If you spot that gray Chevy pickup plate with the plate XNG 136, you should go ahead and call 911. And I'm actually just seeing right now on my Twitter page from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation that this Amber Alert has been canceled. The child has been located, and that man that you see right there on your screen, he is in custody. So once again, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, they are reporting on their Twitter page, this child has been safely located, and the father, he is in custody right now. This morning, 42-year-old Jonathan Campton sits in jail. He turned himself in Friday to Bryan County Sheriff. He faces charges in the case of a Peach County man originally reported missing and then later found dead at a home in Warner Robins last weekend. Campton is charged with murder and aggravated assault in the death of 33-year-old Joseph Webb. Campton is now being held at the Houston County Jail. It's 6:37 and your news from across the state. This morning, the Kemp family is mourning the loss of Jean Argo. That's Governor Brian Kemp's mother-in-law. She died yesterday. First Lady Marty Kemp said in an announcement on Twitter, "Today we lost a beautiful and wonderful woman, my mother." The Kemp family also thanked Georgians for their thoughts and prayers. This morning, we're learning Georgia lawmakers appearing before a special grand jury in a 2020 election investigation have broad immunity. A judge also says they can be asked about their conversations with people outside of the legislature. A former state lawmaker and Georgia's lieutenant governor previously asked the Fulton County Superior Court judge to cancel subpoenas seeking their testimony. The judge says the pair must comply with the orders, but he set limits on what grand jurors may ask them and other state lawmakers who are summoned. The grand jury is looking into whether former President Donald Trump and others illegally tried to influence the 2020 election in the Peach State. This morning, we've got more information about a scary moment involving a Spirit Airlines landing in Atlanta. Airport officials say the plane's brakes actually overheated.
Once I found out about it, I was shaking up. Like I have a 1-year-old son, and me and my baby moms was talking about bringing him on the plane, but instead they drove back from Tampa.
Well, check out this video posted to social media that showed the plane with flames coming from near the tires and landing gear. You can see smoke flowing out behind the wing. Now, thankfully, no injuries were reported and passengers were not forced to evacuate from the tarmac. In a statement to our sister station in Atlanta, Spirit Airlines said they were thankful for the first responders and they went ahead and removed that plane from service for maintenance. In other Spirit Airlines news, the airlines announced that it's once again postponing a crucial shareholder vote on a proposed merger with Frontier Airlines. The vote was pushed back to this Friday so the company can continue discussions with Frontier and rival bidder JetBlue Airways. This is the third time Spirit called off a vote on Frontier's offer. The Spirit board indicates it prefers a deal with Frontier over JetBlue, whose offer is currently higher in value. It's 6:39. Today, Macon Bibb marks a big milestone in its fight against blight. The county says in just a few hours, the Public Works Department will begin tearing down the 200th rundown and dangerous structure of the Blight Fight Initiative. It should start around 10 this morning at 1185 Kitchen Street. Mayor Lester Miller will speak at a press conference before the demolition. You can watch it live on the county's Facebook page. The county says they want to tear down 3 to 6 more homes this week or structures, depending on the weather and time. The latest Blight Fight initiative started in April of last year. Well, the time is now 6:40 a.m. Hopefully the weather will be cooperating with them this morning. And Alex, you know, we're coming up on August and we're tend to seeing the tropics get a little bit more active, and it looks like it's already heating up. Yeah, we're about a month ahead of schedule in terms of naming storms. We saw Colin a few weeks ago, and that was about a month ahead of when we typically see our first C name storm. We could see our D storm for the year before this week is over. I'll show you that here in just a minute. But first, 93 degrees is what we did yesterday. And we're going to be a bit cooler today thanks to some overcast skies
highs that we're seeing this morning, that's going to linger on into the afternoon hours. 73 is what we're waking up to in Dublin right now. 70s across the board, ranging from 77 in Americus up to 70 in Monticello. Everywhere else is somewhere in between. Also seeing fog in a few spots across the area. Visibility down to about 3 miles there at the Dublin airport this morning. Now, the radar picture is quiet. We went through the overnight hours, though. It was not quiet. In fact, we picked up 2 to 4 inches of rain in parts of Macon Bibb on up into Jones and Monroe County. Not everybody saw rain last night, like not up at Lake St. Clair, but generally speaking, we did see a lot of rainfall over the past 12 hours. Now, it's quiet across the southeast, thanks in part to upper level high pressure that's situated over Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and out there. That is helping to keep the front down to the south. That's also going to keep our temperatures fairly moderate today. You notice here we go by the noon hour. Temperatures low 80s, upper 70s with a few showers beginning to develop. And then as we head through the day today, we're not seeing the usual scattered shower and storm activity in terms of coverage area across central Georgia. Still looking at locally heavy downpours and some isolated rumbles of thunder, but not as much of it as we've seen over the past few days. We'll keep that going for Tuesday as well. Notice starting the day off with a lot of cloud cover, and then into the afternoon hours, some spotty showers. And then once we get into Wednesday, we'll up the rain chances to about 40% here across central Georgia. Now, the rain chance is going to continue to go up as we get more moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. This is part of that tropical system that Wanye was alluding to. We do have the chance for development, which you'll see here in just a moment over the next 5 days. But in the meantime, a 30% chance of rain for today and tomorrow. That's up to 40% for Wednesday, 60% for Thursday. And here's the latest on this thing. The front itself, as it moves its way down into the Gulf of Mexico, could form a closed low pressure system. If it does that, it has a 30% chance of becoming a tropical system, in which case it would get the name Danielle down there in the Gulf of Mexico. So 70s through the noon hour. This time last week we were talking about 90s at the noon hour. So we are running cooler than that, and then back into the 80s by 1 o'clock, eventually to 86 today with a 30% chance of rain and not as many showers and storms across central Georgia. Here comes the 7-day forecast. We've got 80s tomorrow as well with a 30% chance of rain. Briefly into the 90s on Wednesday, then we are right back into the 80s to round out the week. Down to 84 on Friday. This is going to be our coolest stretch of days that we've seen here across central Georgia since early June.